Mitrom and Bandhuvam, welcome to South Asia Maps, your education channel from Dr. J. Reddy. And if you are new to my education channel, I have already put more than 330 very interesting presentations for you, and you can go and look at them. That is at the YouTube channel South Asia Maps J. Reddy, and in round about 30 appropriate playlists of varied diverse interests. We are today talking about a very interesting topic. This is the part 88. In Human Ecology, Human Predicament series. The title of today's topic is Across the Atlantic Ocean. You see the Atlantic Ocean here. This is the old world, that is Eurasia. This is the new world, North America, South America, Australia, so on. Across the Atlantic, the Continental-Congress, a political body that fought for or agitated for independence of the new colonies from the United Kingdom, British imperial entity, that is the Continental-Congress. The later becomes the Congress and so on. Continental-Congress and the inventions of the James Watt around about 1775, a English person called James Watt invented a steam engine. Essentially, he modified the previous existing steam engine. Across the Atlantic, Continental-Congress as well as the James Watt propelled the new nation, the new independent nation, towards the age. That is the age of exuberance. Exuberance is something like a very jovial and enjoyable efflorescence, happy mood. So ecological exuberance gives the political exuberance, that gives the social exuberance, emotional exuberance, and so on. But even though these two events, that is two entities, James Watt's invention, Continental-Congress, propelled this nation into the age of exuberance, there is something behind it, the backing. That's what we are going to talk about today. A lot of people who in the socio-political discussions think that the entire planet Earth will achieve the high standards of living like United States, the Western world. No, Dr. Cotton says that's simply impossible due to two reasons. America become a very affluent, rich nation temporarily due to two reasons that we discuss. Even though these two events propelled a lot of people think like that. These two events are taking over and other is called drawing down. Across the Atlantic, even though the Continental-Congress, this side, and James Watt and that side, propelled the new nation of USA to the age of exuberance, USA turned, these two events turned the United States of America, now very powerful, affluent nation on the planet Earth, into a colossal nation. Colossal means it is 330 million people. Each person is a colossal, gigantic, consumes a lot of energy, resources. 80 kilogram person driven by 2000 kilogram automobile is colossal, to be simply mentioning. Now, it is on the road of predicament, the new nation, the new tools, plenty of detritus it enjoyed one time, now it is not. Let's look at these things in a simple thing, then analyze it little more. Continental-Congress is nothing but a series of legislative bodies. Before and during and after American Revolutionary War, 1776 or so, the congressional bodies are 13 colonies. There used to be 13 colonies like Virginia and Carolinas and Georgia and so on. And 13 colonies, they fought, met 1774 to 89, that is a Continental Congress, declared independence and fought. At the same time, James Watt, that 3068, he passed away 1819. So he converted the existing heat-based steam engine into rotary motion. Steam engine transferred men into supermen. That means the coal discoveries in England, first, later, vast territory in the United States, immense amount of the coal, in 1850s, immense amount of the oil, propelled the new nation into a very powerful nation on the planet Earth. First, these steam engines were fueled by wood, later fueled by coal, later fueled by oil and natural gas. The prodigal quantities of energy captured by prehistoric photosynthesis. Even though outside these two events made America a very powerful nation, democratic, beneath it ecologically what is called taking over. After 13 colonies, they met and declared independence. It has a very small amount of the land east of Appalachian Mountains in the United States. About 30 years later, during Thomas Jefferson time, they purchased vast amount of land from France, that controlled France this time, up to Rocky Mountains, called Louisiana Purchase in 1806. By 40 years later, they annexed the Texas from Mexico. They got vast amount of land again. The next 2 years later, around about 1848, they fought war again with Mexico and annexed the Alta California. That means that is the land, Alta California. I lost some. Yeah, okay, sorry for that. Yeah, Alta California is the land that today consists of California and New Mexico, Arizona, Utah and all those territories. Later they purchased the Oregon territory coast to coast, provided immense amount of the land, territory, vast amount of coal deposits. So they took over the vast virgin land to sparsely populated native Indians, subdued them, confined them to reserves, took away the entire land from competitors, the flora and fauna, the bisons, prairie grasses. Later, coal discoveries, 1850s oil discoveries. That is, oil is essentially detritus, dead organic matter transformed into the coal and oil, natural gas by the high pressure and temperature millions of years back. These two events, taking over the virgin land from the competitors, drawing down the detritus fossil fuels, provided immense amount of opportunities to the European colonizers of this land, their descendants who turned the country into very country by exploiting these two events. That is only one time event. Now there is no more land for Americans or Europeans or anybody to take over. We are talking about the virgin land, sparsely populated land. And there are no more resources like the coal and oil and natural gas easily available. We have to dig more, you have to spend more and more energy. That is very difficult. So that is the one-time process only. That's how made the nation to nation United States across the Atlantic Ocean. Even the politically we can see it is the James Watt's invention and Continental-Congress, later democracy and all those things. Those are not the event democracies. All these are due to ecological exuberance, social exuberance, political exuberance. They have basis, ecological carrying capacity surplus. That made these concepts to come into existence due to political exuberance that made the country powerful. So that is the taking over. 1776 year Independence Declaration, 1803 the Louisiana Purchase, 1840 Texas annexation, later Alta California annexation, later purchase of the Oregon territory that made the American dream, that is non-competitive way of life. As per American dream, everybody can live very happily, pursue it, their peace or freedom or enjoyment without being interfered from others in the same territory or across, that is the American dream, that is now faltering because it suffers from carrying capacity deficits. The land cannot support 330 million people with that high standard of living, high energy consumption, resource consumption. That is the dilemma the nation facing, and many nations in the planet Earth are also facing the similar scenario. That's why the American dream or Canadian dream, Australian dream, all are now running on phantom carrying capacity. This is the phantom. Carrying capacity means it has to support permanently, forever, that amount of the population, that amount of the living standard. It cannot be possible. So that will become phantom carrying capacity, not real carrying capacity. Many parts of the world it is faltering. The outward symptom is job loss, economic termination of the work, and a poor quality of the life, and restrictions on immigration, and high inflation, and all these things are just socio-political symptoms externally of the beneath the ecological basis of the life on the planet Earth. All these dreams collapsing or faltering, declining because of not any malice or any the negative political actions, because the loss of phantom carrying capacity. That's what we looked today, part 88. The two things that propelled United States, an affluent nation, are not just James Watt's engine or Continental-Congress. They're essentially the taking over the vast land and drawing down the mineral, metal, fossil fuel resources. And you can look at the rest of the presentations in the folder. And that's what it is. And thank you very much, Mitram and Bandhuvam, and see you later in other presentations. If you take a few seconds and access our YouTube channel and post your comments and bring it to the notice of your friends, that will be very greatly appreciated, bringing the knowledge to the audience of similar interest like you. See you later in other presentations.